Baby, what's up, guys? How are you guys doing? I hope everything's been smooth on your end, as smooth as possible, right? I want us to take a moment right now to have a moment of silence for anyone that's transitioned in our lives, that has passed away, that has gone to the other side. It's so interesting how a lot can be clarified when someone leaves. It's really intense how life can really just wake up for you and you realize a lot of things that you knew, but you were overlooking. And I don't know why this has to be the reminder for everyone, or I can't really say for everyone, but this seems to be the reminder that a lot of people receive, that death in life is inevitable. And to take into consideration the people that you have in your life and not take them for granted, not take away from what they give you in your life, because all of it matters in some way, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's there for something. And if we don't take the time to really take the situation in for what it was or what it is, then we might miss a few pivotal things. I don't know if I brought it up on myself. I don't know if I manifested it myself. The fact that I've been egging on Gemini season to take it easy on me this year, and then for it to really just domino effect. But it's very interesting because with the bad, there's also so much good. There's also so much good. And that's something I don't want to take for granted. I don't want to take that just because of a grieving moment that I don't get to bask in celebration with the things that need to be celebrated. So it makes it interesting when you have that juxtaposition of life and death happening for you at the same time, and all of the emotions that come with that. Please check in on the people that you have in your life that you feel they're doing good. They may be doing really well. It's just a matter of we don't know when things are going to go down. So check on anybody you feel needs to be checked up on. This is just a little reminder. Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Present Not Perfect. I'm your host, Mimi Jeanite, and today we are going to be talking about what happens when life happens and you end up being the one that has to live with it. Okay, let's get into it. This past week, well, when this comes out, actually, it'll been the week before, I didn't lose because, energy never dies. But there was a transition of someone that I once deemed as like a big brother. And he was just a really pivotal person in my life. And I took that in a way where I kept it close to my heart. And unfortunately, we weren't able to keep our relationship moving in that big brother, little sister aspect. I made a video a few months ago explaining something that happened with me and this person. At least the truth is out there, my side of the story at least. And with the fact that I didn't have a chance to speak to him after the whole thing went down, which is what I speak on in the video, like whatever went down, we didn't really have a chance to get into any chance of reconcile because of ego. Ego is a big part of both of us not actually coming in to speak to each other. And when I heard about his death, it made me realize that what we were fighting about was so petty. It was so beneath us. And I'm not sure if he would have agreed to speaking and reconciling, getting over what the bullshit was. But after realizing that that shit was petty as fuck, we did not need to be fighting over what we were fighting over, it made me realize that I would rather be able to try to work out something with people than to let life happen and then regret it later. I have to be real and understand that he was a different type of person. But we all knew this. You know, we all knew who he was at the end of the day. And I'm just grateful that I was able to stand my ground and advocate for myself during my time of need, because it had been a while since I'd done that. So the fact that I was able to just, you know what, let me speak up for myself, even if I don't know what's, like, you don't know somebody's going to die. You don't know somebody's going to pass away when you advocate for yourself. Even if it makes you look like the bad guy, you do it because it's a good thing to stand up for yourself and to defend yourself against something that is wrong against you. Everybody feels justified in the way that they come through. One thing that made it very cathartic for me was the fact that when I got the call about his death, I was able to speak to somebody that he spoke to, somebody that we both worked with, and apparently he opened up to this man and told him how regretful he was about crossing a line and how he doesn't know if he'll be able to approach me ever again. Of course, the dude that we both worked with, you know, encouraged him to speak to me because we know who we are based off of our encounters with each other. So it's like, no, bro, you know me. Like, unfortunately, and this is where the pride comes in, or the shame. Either way, it's still the same thing. He came in and we never got to that point. But he did open up to him and told him how he felt about what he had done. And the fact that he told somebody the truth, he told somebody what happened, or as much of a detailed description of what happened that the person wanted to receive. Because after the person was like asking him, hey, what did you do? Like, as it was getting a little intense. And then knowing my past, the guy was like, you know, Mimi doesn't do that. You know, Mimi, that's not how she runs her life. That's not how she moves. So then it made the person that died understand, like, you're right. So the person that we both worked with came into like, okay, I don't really want to know the details then. Like, if it's that bad, I don't want to know the details, which is understandable. But to know that he received some information, like what he repeated to me was like, yep, that's exactly what happened. Yep, that's exactly what happened. And then I did my part of clearing up the fact that, you know, it didn't go past a certain degree, because when somebody makes something feel intense to the point where it could have gone anywhere, you know, but knowing who I need to be in my life, I did what I had to do. And if you ever come across the video where I did speak on my part of the story, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It wasn't even that deep. It wasn't that deep to the point where we wouldn't have been able to reconcile. Let me say that, because it was that deep. The fact that that line was crossed, it was that deep. It was just not as deep as it could seem if you don't have all the details. So once I got to that point of understanding that at least someone out here in the world knows the truth, because I don't know what he told his family. I don't know what he told his people, his friends. You know, some people you're gonna tell them something just to make yourself look bigger. Some people you're gonna tell them something to protect your image. You know, I don't know what he's told people, but the fact that I do want to go to the funeral and the viewing and all of this and show my face, it is kind of like I need to be careful type of vibe, because I don't know what's been said or how people are feeling, and I want to respect the family. I want to respect what they feel like they need for themselves, and the fact that he's not here to speak out against anything, it makes it very uncomfortable for me. It makes it very frustrating to feel like, wow, I also have to think about this at the same time. There was a lot of people that he impacted, and the fact that he wasn't a bad guy, he just made a few bad decisions. It did bring me to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what the family's going to think. If they have a question on what happened, they can ask me. However, for what the guy has done for me, for what he has provided for my life as far as change, I'm going to show up. I'm going to give my condolences. I'm going to at least see him off. Because before the bullshit happened, before everything went down, I was definitely like, that's my dog. Like that is a good friend of mine. So the fact that he is no longer here, hold on. Okay, yeah. The fact that he's no longer here, it's very like jarring. You know, it's like, damn. And the way he was very much a force of nature. Like he walked through, you knew, like this man knows himself. Like he's just so big, full of life. Like he made you feel like, yeah, you should big up yourself. Like he made you feel like something when you were in his presence. Either he made you feel small or he made you feel big as him. Like one or the other. And I feel like there's a lot to learn from the fact of everything going the way that it has right now. And because of the fact that I do have a couple people in my life where I no longer speak to them. I chose not to speak to them anymore because of what they've done to me, and I wanted to protect my peace. But then I also acknowledged the fact that if they were to die right now, I would be fucked up receiving that information. It would still hit me in a way where I would have hoped for something, you know? So now it has this whole thing has put me in the perspective of, you know, even if the conversation doesn't go anywhere past me telling the person that I forgive them, at least they receive that. So when they do pass, or if I pass, they have that consolation at the end of the day, if it matters to them. But one thing I know is that it matters to me, so I would like to do right by myself, you know, considering the wrongs that have been done. So yeah, it had me thinking, like, as far as it comes with my stepdad, like, I haven't spoken to this man in years. I haven't spoken to him in years, and I was just thinking, like, wow, I need to talk to you, bro. I haven't spoken to my dad also. It seems like a lot of my experiences when it comes to male figures in my life, they tend to go in the opposite direction of good after a while. I'm not sure why, but I am breaking this curse, because there are a lot of male figures in my life that I still hold close to this day that are very much reciprocal in good fortune and good vibes, good environment to me. So I am breaking the curse. To go back to like my experience with my stepdad, I chose not to speak to him because of what I realized, and I didn't want to have to deal with it anymore because of how toxic it got to be. And me having the heart that I have, I just wanted to be able to breathe through it, still not feel like I just want to be gone from here. And when you go through certain experiences where somebody really gets into your mind and they get into your head, and it's just like you're being manipulated, and it just sucks, you know, especially when you're meant to trust this person. It's just, you don't have that opportunity in either direction, and your real dad or your stepdad. It just sucks. So I was thinking, like, wow, because of the fact that I still have the opportunity to say something to you, I might as well speak my truth right now with you while there's a moment to actually feel like this, that I want to actually reconcile something. Not even like to the point where we're back buddy, but to know that I've said my piece, you can have the floor to say your piece, and then we can either live in truth or we can live in our separate lives, you know, instead of the way that it ended off. Because then we can both live with the clarity, the closure of it all. And I'm still waiting on that because for a few days, I actually was trying to convince myself to just call. Like, not even convince, like, my brain keeps reminding me to call. And I'm like, okay, I'll call. Okay. So it's been one of those where it was like I was pushing it off, and then, this morning I called and it went straight to voicemail twice. So I don't know. And the one thing that got me with going back to my ex-coworker, he blocked me on everything. That's why I knew there was like something deeper. There was something deeper, because you don't block people that you don't really care. Like, you block people that you don't want to see. You don't want to have any type of affiliation. You don't want them seeing your shit. You don't want to see anything. You don't want to feel like there's something that can affect you as they post or as they call or as they text. You don't want to see anything from them. And the fact that we had business to take care of, but he still chose to block me, I realized that shit was deeper. And he actually remembered that it was that type of deepness that he knew. So I'm jumping around, I know. It's just coming to me as it comes. We know how my brain works by now. But yeah, if I could have just had a conversation with dude to really bring it into like hey bro, we're human. We make mistakes. Own up to your mistake. Because even when I brought it up to him, he made it seem like he didn't even remember that night, that he was too drunk. And it's like, no, you knew what you were doing. You were coherent enough to know what you were doing. And the fact that I got that validation from the guy that we both worked with, knowing that he told that guy the truth, it was like, okay, I'm not fucking delusional. It's so sad when there's something that happens to you and someone gaslights you to make it like it didn't happen, but they know it happened. And that's the one thing that's really like making me very nervous about having this conversation with my stepdad. I think the way I think because of this man, because I need to protect myself. I need to make sure that I understand what's real and what's not. My reality may not be everybody else's reality, but the reality that happens between both people, that's the actual thing. That's the facts. And I don't have any problem speaking on facts. But when somebody says that the facts are fiction, and it was only between two people, it fucks with you. It fucks with you real bad. And it almost makes you feel like you're in a different world. Like you're in a twilight zone. So that's the one thing making me nervous right now. But I'm still gonna go through with it because I know that I wanna be able to live with the fact that I did what I could. And that's one thing helping me with the passing of my friend, is that I did what I could. I, not once throughout our scuffle, made it to be like he didn't have an option of coming to me clean. I never once got disrespectful to the point where it wasn't something that I was owed or that was putting somebody else down. I was very respectful through all of the bullshit, even if I was the one getting slapped in the face. And that takes a lot of strength. And it did teach me a lot throughout that whole time. You know, there's a lot that you have to be able to endure when dealing with other people. There's a lot, and it's not even endure like, okay, you gotta take it. It's a matter of, all right, I understand your pain right now. I understand why you're doing what you're doing. You're fucked up for doing it. but I'm gonna let you stand in your shit while you figure it out. But I'm gonna understand where you're coming from. Nobody needs to be hurt through this. And the fact that it wasn't taken, that opportunity wasn't taken, I can't do much about that. I come through with empathy. I come through with understanding. I come through with offering you a space to do what you need to do. But what needs to be done also takes courage. It takes strength to pull through the shame of it all, the unknown. But what's on the other side is a lot easier. It's a lot more comfortable. So to make it through that, rather than living in the uncomfortability, oh, what if I see them in public? Or what if, like, what happens then? No. I would rather feel like I could see you and I don't feel shit. Like, if we see each other and we can say hi because we're cordial, straight. If we see each other and we can't say hi, but we don't really care, fine with me too. But if I see you and you see me and it's like nervous reaction, something gotta give. I don't need to be living with that. You don't need to be living with that either. Let's fucking fix that shit. Let us be more mature. We don't have to fuck with each other after, but at least there will be an understanding on both parties. You know who I am, and I know who you are. The fact that I was lied to so much in my past, I think this is why I am the way I am in my truth. And I want others to be able to live in that same authenticity, because the lies don't provide anything. They give a lot more anxiety. They give a lot more stress than needed. You gotta keep up with all of the bullshit for what? Be your authentic self. Being your authentic self is not an easy feat. And that's why I feel like a lot of people fear themselves when they've done something wrong, when they've done something that isn't promoting the image that they want to have in the world. But we make mistakes. We make mistakes all the time. A decision that we make, we possibly think our intentions behind it are to give us the best outcome, but maybe that's the wrong decision to make. We don't know that though until the decision is made. But if you move with integrity the whole time, you should be able to come up to somebody and be like, you know what, girl, I'm sorry. I chose wrong. I made the wrong decision and I apologize. That was not my intention. And that is why I feel there's no issue for me. Because when I move with integrity. I don't move to spite you. I don't move to do you wrong. I don't move to be underhanded on any aspect of whatever you got going on. I'm rooting for you or I'm stepping out of your way. I don't have time for the whatever else there is outside of that. And it's sad, you know, because this could have been a different type of celebration, and maybe he wouldn't have been gone right now, because there's a lot of stress that comes in when you feel like you have to watch your back or you feel like people are against you. It's just too much paranoia. So the stress of that, and then knowing that there's things like it's just so much piled up on each other, and it doesn't need to be that. So he could have possibly still been alive to this day. Who knows? I'm just speculating and hope. But yeah, R.I.P. to my friend, bro. That man was something else. I tell ya. I tell ya. And now I hope I get a chance to say something to both of my dads. I hope I get a chance to say something where it's like, hey, I may not grasp the entire reason why you've done something that you've done toward me, of course. However, understanding that this is your first time doing this, understanding that you may have thought that this was the best thing to do, or your own traumas are influencing you, I forgive you. Do you choose to do things differently? Are you choosing to live in a healthier way? If we can agree to that, and if there's something where we can both come to agreement on that, and it shows in their actions, maybe something can come from that, you know? But if the same thing continues to happen, then we've both done what we needed to do. And I'm okay with living past that. It's the fact that the openness, that space of, you have a chance right now. You have an opportunity right now to make something known, to find some reconcile, some closure, some clarity between two parties or more. You have the moment, so do it scared, do it nervous, do it with the shakes, but do it. So then when something transpires that is out of anyone's control, everyone can feel like, all right, well, we did what we could. We are here. The moment we start taking life a little bit seriously, just a little bit, we don't need to be taking it too seriously, okay? Just a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of the things that we hold against people that we realize that we do ourselves, that we would have a lot more grace for people for. Knowing that I have the option of actually choosing to do something differently with those nowadays. And even in the future when I come across, because I'm gonna meet different people, and we're gonna have something that happens with different people. We think different ways. Things happen differently for us, you know. But to be able to speak to people and to come over a hurdle like this before something happens that is so tragic, and then you're starting to try to give flowers after. Give the flowers while they're there. Give the flowers while they're there. And don't be so ashamed that you would allow your pride to just influence and cloud your judgment on how you should move toward that person when something's been wronged against them, yet you just feel like you need to uphold your own standard or image or perspective from others, because then when something like this happens, there's no clarity at all. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different reality they lived with you or that they received from you. So make it right with the people that deserve it, at least. Whatever happened, make it right with them. And allow the true nature of whatever it is to thrive, so that you can live with whatever comes. No stress. You did what you could. And I think that's why I was able to come through this. I mean, I didn't even expect this on my bingo card this year. But the fact that it happened, I think I went through it pretty well, considering the fact that I did everything that I could in the first place. And my heart goes out to all of the people affected by this death right now. This man was impactful. God bless your soul, bro. And may you rest in peace. You've been watching another episode of Present Not Perfect. I'm your host, Mimi Jeanite. And on this side, it's always gonna be love. So until next time, I will see you guys. Bye.